just out there in the workshop trying to finish off a few projects even, and I was just going through and I thought I'd take a moment to discuss a product I've started using some time ago. This is Abranet by Mirka, I presume. It's a sanding product. I think originally invented for the painting industry. It's actually a mesh, so you should be able to see through the back of that. And I found it's been really good for wood turning, for getting the quality of finishes that I want on it. Even to the point I've gone and made a couple of sanding blocks, which this stuff has a nice adhesive backing, velcro backing. So you can just put it onto a sanding block. I've even made up a small drill bit attachment which allows me to do mechanised sanding. And just get the finish on the bowl. I'm just finishing off a product on the lathe, so let's go and have a look at what that's doing. I must just say I'm not being paid to do this. This is something I've discovered on my own, and yeah, I think it's something wood turners particularly should know about, but any woodworker should use. The stuff's about 38, 39p a sheet, and actually lasts quite a long time. That's a fairly worn one. Comes in a range of grits from 80 up to 600, and there are other brands on the market that will take you up to about 4,000 grit or equivalent. The one thing I will say with this stuff is you do have to be careful with it. It's aggressive, particularly the 80 grit. You have to be careful not to lean too hard on it, otherwise you end up with some interesting grooves and patterns that you'll spend some time sanding out. That said, it's really effective, very quick, and I think pretty cost effective. Anyway, let's see it in action. Okay, this is a horse chestnut conker bowl that I've been working on, and I'm just finishing up the bottom on it, mounting my cold jaws here, and I've left a few machine marks on there. Not sure if it really stands out on camera. There's some quite significant marks still there, and I'm going to see if I can sand them out with the Abranet system. So I'm going to start off at, if I can find it, and this is one of the downsides of Abranet. They all look the same, these sheets, unfortunately. This is quite a used one, but I'm going to just demonstrate here how well it works. So I'm going to start up the lathe and see if we can get rid of some of these machine marks. And I'm just running this about, in this case, 750 RPM. I'm just going to start trying to stand out. I'm going to have to put the dust extraction on, so this is going to get noisy. Take it on through the grit, so that's 80 grit. Try 120, and then through. I found using the product and a bit of hand sanding with the grain in between helps to take down the radial marks that the sanding leaves behind by rotating the piece. But, hopefully you can already see that the majority of the machine marks are starting to disappear. We'll carry on up through the grits and see what we get to. Find that 320 grit is enough. and then I'll use 400 and 600 just to deal with the finish. I like to use a shellac finish, but certainly on this one, occasionally oil finishes. The advantage of this sheet is it coats with wet sanding as well as dry sanding without clogging particularly badly. As you see there, you can fold it. I'm just doing a little bit of sanding with the grain, and hopefully you can already see the machine marks, tool marks are gone. What I like to use as finish more commonly than not, particularly on pieces where I'm looking for a bit of a shine, is to use shellac. I just give that a bit of a coat up. I like to apply it reasonably thickly. It helps to finish any little blemishes. Work it right down into the detail that I put on there. The reason I like shellac so much is I'm a very impatient person, and this does tend to dry nice and quickly. Anyway, this isn't a product review for shellac, this is a product review for Abranet. And there you can see I've got a very smooth, clean finish, only going up to 320 grit. Make sure I've worked it into all the detail. Right, let that dry for a minute or two. Even that, another reason I like shellac is it is so fast drying. Okay, literally that is now dry. So, now running over it with 400 grit. Even if it's still a little bit wet, the advantage of this stuff is it doesn't mind. But I think it was originally designed for the paint spraying industry. So you get a bit of problem build up. It's a bit wet still, but literally that will break off as soon as it's dry. Quick run down with this. Again. Now we're not particularly worried about going with the grain, we're just looking to remove any marks that the sanding's leaving behind. Just give it a quick buff up. A lovely smooth finish, ready for the final level of friction polish. And there we see my poor old sandpaper rolls now sitting unused on the shelf. Okay, so a quick roundup. This is Abranet, not Abranet as I keep pronouncing it. It's a product I've used for about a year, and it really does speed up a section of woodworking I think that most woodworkers hate, which is sanding. It's great, particularly I think the flexible sheets work really well for wood turners. You can get into all the nooks and crannies and produces a very quick, very smooth result. I can do nothing but recommend it. I did have a minor quibble with it, which is it's fairly hard to see the gritting rating on it, and obviously you can't see anything on that side of the sheet at all, but they have solved that by increasing the size of the text used. So that would be my one very minor complaint. Other than that, it's quick, economical, and very versatile, and I think well worth using. As I said in the opening, I'm not being paid to recommend this stuff. This is just something I found and I think is great for wood turners. Hope this has been helpful. Enjoy.